In the previous lecture series, from lecture 1 up to lecture 6, we have experimented on different ways of version control, locally and remotely. Specifically, in the previous lecture, we have seen how to delete merged branches. And today, I will be discussing a little bit advanced topic, which is viewing local changes and histories. The first command that we can issue to the local Git is a way to compare the state of files in your version control system. For instance, we do have a README file that we know, and if you want to know the state of the README file, one commit before the current state, you issue the git diff command, and you simply issue head 1. The file name it will be readme.md. So basically, this command will compare the contents of readme.md in the current commit head to the contents of readme.md in the commit that came before the current commit, which is head 1, which is one step before the current state of the head. So this shows you what has been added and what has been subtracted from the previous state of the readme file. So this basically shows it was software engineering 1 from main branch in the previous state of this file at head -1, and at the current state it is software engineering from above HR branch. That's what we have been doing from the previous lectures, right? So this is very important command of Git that helps us to compare between files, between versions of the same file. Okay. The other command is cached readme.cached git diff cached command, which helps us to compare the contents of the file on target in the working directory to the contents of the file in the staging area. For instance, if I issue git diff cached readme, then this basically there is a keyword word issue, I guess. Then if I issue this one, it shows the difference between the current file readme.md, and if the file, assuming this file has been modified, it will show the difference between the staged one and the current one. For instance, let's work something on this branch. Let's say we are in branch main, and now let me modify the readme file. Okay, so let me add new content from main branch here. Okay, then let me save it. Okay, now when we see the status of this repository, it says readme is modified. Let me add this one, or let me stage readme. Okay, so now I have a result for git status which says readme is staged or modified. So now let me issue the previous command that checks the difference between the current state of the readme and the staged form of the readme file. So in this case, for instance, you can clearly see that the difference between the current committed readme file and the one to be committed, which is a staged file, is this content, which is new space, new line, and new content from main branch statement. Okay, this is git diff command, which its main purpose is, the first thing, comparing. The comparison could be between different files, or the same file and different version. It could also be, the same file in commit and staged domain. So git diff is a very important command. Okay, you can even check or you can even use git diff to check or to compare the contents of the master branch on the remote repository to the contents of the master branch on the local repository. So in order to do that, you can simply issue git diff origin slash master with, or origin slash main in our case. Our main repository is named after the name main. So this simply compares the local main repository and the remote main repository. In our case, our main repository might not have any change because we haven't committed the change that we have made locally. If we have made or committed this change, we might have seen some information. For instance, let me commit this one. Commit minus a, then let me put it in insert mode and new commit for git diff purpose. Okay, let me say it's diff for commit for git diff purpose. So now let's reissue the previous command that checks the state of the local main folder and the state of the remote main folder. So as you can see here, you see basic differences. Okay, for instance, new content from main branch is only available in the local main branch, but not available in the remote main branch. So git diff is very important for you as a programmer to check the difference file-wise or file level or line level differences between your local repository and remote repository. The other thing I want to discuss with you in this lecture is the mechanism in Git that shows you the history of your repository. So this command is called git log. It lets you to see the history of your repository. So if I issue git log simply, it shows me the number, the date of commits, from where to where I committed, who committed, the author, the date, everything. The commit message is specified here. You can limit the number of log messages or histories by specifying the -n qualifier. For instance, -n3 would list only 3 histories back to starting from the current commit or the last commit to the 3 steps back to the previous commits. So here, as you can see here, we do have only 3 commits, or a history composed of 3 commits. Okay. So this is a very pretty, command, an advanced command that helps you to check or compare or check the history of your repository. So that being said, I will adjourn this lecture, and in the next lecture, I will talk about fixing commit mistakes or changing commits. So you might need to amend some files to your previous commit, or you might want to fix mistakes that you have made in the immediate commit that you made. Okay, so we will see techniques to amend commits and modify commits or fix mistakes in the next lecture, which is, I guess, the 8th lecture in this lecture series.